Morning, guys. We're taking a ride on the Benelli TNT 135. TNT what? Benelli who? This is the resurrection for the umpteenth time of Benelli. It's an Italian brand of motorcycles that was recently purchased by a Chinese company. Manufacturing is located somewhere just outside of Shanghai, and Benelli's design and engineering office is in Italy. So these motorcycles are engineered and designed in Italy and manufactured in China. And the bike we have here is their entry-level street sport bike called the TNT 135. It's powered by a 135cc 4-stroke single-cylinder engine, and the cool thing about this engine is it's actually got a 4-valve cylinder head, so more intake charge gets delivered, more exhaust charge gets flowed out the cylinder. It also has a dual spark ignition, so 2 spark plugs. And what the dual spark ignition does is it provides better combustion efficiency. So in theory, I can't see inside that cylinder, so I can't tell you for sure, but in theory it's got better combustion efficiency. So all that fuel and air that goes in that cylinder gets exploded, and the waste, the exhaust gas remnants, there's less of it. So less unburned fuel left behind, and that just gives you more power and greater efficiency. This bike weighs about 266 pounds, give or take. That's, 30-40 pounds heavier than a Grom 125 or Z125 Pro, but it doesn't really necessarily feel that much heavier. You really don't feel it. It's insanely nimble. I mean, it just goes exactly where you want with like no effort at all. If you were someone who is kind of scared or intimidated of riding a full-size motorcycle, I think this thing would be kind of neat. And it's a little bit bigger than a Grom or a Z125 Pro, but not that much bigger where you're jumping into the full-size realm of motorcycles. Say maybe it's 8%, 10%, 8% bigger than those motorcycles dimensionally. I'm 6 foot tall, 181 pounds, and I'm fitting on this motorcycle fairly decently. As you can see, because my legs are so long, I'm sitting back a little bit farther in the saddle. Also, my knees here are touching the exterior of the fairing shroud. Obviously, my legs are too long to fold into these neat crannies here, so maybe the ergonomics aren't necessarily the best for a 6 foot tall rider. But at the same time, I'm riding the bike right now and I don't have extreme discomfort. I have to say that this thing is a little annoying, but it's not terrible, at least for this 60-70 mile ride we're going to be on today. Handlebar, it's a nice aluminum handlebar, which I like. The bend has a nice rearward sweep, which is really good for street bike riding, but it kind of keeps my elbows a little bit lower. It would have been nice if maybe this sweep had a little bit more rise in it, just to kind of help keep your elbows a little higher. The higher your elbows, generally the more control you have with a motorcycle. But at the same time, it's a comfortable bend and it works pretty decently. This bike comes equipped with cross-drill disc brakes front and back. There's no adjustable brake lever position, but I wouldn't consider that a deal breaker based on the price of this bike. Did we talk about the price? Guess what this thing costs? $2,500, $2,499 for this 2018 Benelli TT 135. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive indeed. $2,500 for one of these bikes. As you can see, this bike, you might be able to see the tail light in front of me. It has LED lighting front and back. Even the turn signals are LEDs. So you're getting some quality componentry with this thing. And looking at this bike, you know, when you start studying the lines, you can see those Italian lines in the bodywork of this bike, and even in the frame and the swing arm. A lot of other bikes in this category, the frames and the swing arm, they're just steel, you know, steel frame, steel swing arm, nothing fancy. Well, on this frame, it's actually a tubular trellis style frame in typical Italian spirit. So the the trellis steel fairings generally work real good because they give a lot of feel. A lot of feel. Alright, we're taking a little break here, guys, so let's hang tight and we'll check in with you in a minute. Alright, where were we, guys? Oh yeah, we were talking about the steel trellis frame and the trellis tubular swing arm. That's one of the things that really makes these Italian designed made bikes, actually Chinese made but Italian designed bikes, really stand out. Italians love those steel trellis frames. So does the Austrians. They love them too. But these frame concepts are really good because they really allow engineers to tune the amount of flex the chassis has. And when they do that, they can always really give favorable feel when you're cornering. The front and the rear have just the right amount of movement, not too much, not too little, and it helps give you that feel of what the tires are doing. It also helps act as a little bit of suspension, complementing the fork and shock on the bike, just giving it that extra little bit of a movement that you want. And it's kind of cool that this $2,500 Benelli TNT incorporates that kind of stuff. I think it's neat. Now obviously the engine power on these bikes is a big deal, and this thing only has a 10cc displacement over its rivals, but that 4-valve head, God, it really makes a big difference. This thing scoots down the road really well. I mean, we're cruising right now at 61 miles per hour. We've pretty much accelerated full gas from that stop at 62, 63, 64, wow, 63, yeah, it's going good. But this thing has a lot more get up and go than a Grom or a Z125. It really gets moving a lot more efficiently than those bikes. As you can see, the top speed is roughly about the same as those things, maybe a hint higher, maybe just a hint higher, but the mid-range and just the acceleration, it works a lot better. Wow, look, we're hitting 70 now. This thing's really cooking. Maybe I spoke too soon. 71, 70, 69. But this engine has a lot more pep. Probably the only bad thing about this engine is, you know, when you get to this high RPM here, it has a little bit of vibration. I wouldn't say it's a lot of vibration, but it is a little bit. You can really feel it through the foot controls and a little bit through the handlebar. But, you know, again, it's a $2,500 bike. What do you expect? Everywhere else in the rev range, it doesn't feel overly vibey by any means. It's actually a pretty peppy little motorcycle. You're having the 5-speed gearbox. That's one extra cog than the Z125 Pro or the Grom 125. And that one little cog really helps. God, we're up to 73 now. This is crazy. Nice analog tack, fuel gauge, speedometer. You can adjust the dash to see what trip you want, trip A or B, or kilometers per hour, or miles per hour. Wow, Troy just drafted right past me. It's pretty impressive. And the styling of this motorcycle, you can really tell that this is an Italian designed bike. If you look at the tail and even the exhaust pipes, it looks almost like an MV Agusta F3 sport bike. It's eerily similar. Even the styling of the engine case covers, it's not something you see out of the Japanese factory. It's very, very Italian. Wonder how the brakes will be on this bike. Let's check them out. Oh, it does nice endo. Yeah, not bad brakes at all. Just axial mount caliper, nothing fancy, but we do have front and rear disc brakes. Suspension on this bike's not adjustable, but I don't know, for my weight, weigh 181 pounds, it feels aptly dampened. It's not, clearly not too stiff, but clearly not too soft either. I guess you could say the ride is a little bit bouncy, but again, I mean, this is a entry-level new bike, not really meant for racing or hauling butt. Like, look how good that thing looks. I really like the styling of this bike. I mean, it's very aggressive. It's very Benelli in the sense of Benelli from this modern era of the last 10 years. It's real edgy, really Italian, and it's a nice little take on an entry-level street fighter type motorcycle. And again, I can't keep talking about the price, but I mean, $2,500. It's crazy that a company can afford a motorcycle that is that inexpensive to own. You know, it's built in China, but the fit and finish, it's pretty good. I wouldn't knock this bike for having crappy fit and finish. Everything looks like it was put together well. The fasteners are good. You hear a little bit of annoying rattling from the engine and the exhaust at super high RPM, but you know, the earplugs I'm wearing kind of drowns out that noise. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with this $2,500 TNT 135. It's a neat little bike. It's definitely exceeding my expectations right now. I kind of thought this was going to be just some ho-hum Pep Boys special, but this thing does well. It's a great little bike, and if you guys are interested in, you know, getting out there and riding and not spending a lot of money, buying this bike, riding a couple times, hey man, I don't like riding, I think I'm going to get rid of it. Or hey man, I like riding a lot, I think I'm going to get a bigger bike and actually ride on the freeway. This bike wouldn't be a bad idea to pick up and try riding on. Again, you're not going to want to commute on it to work every day unless you work, you know, 10-15 miles from home. You don't have to go on the freeway, but for around town riding, getting around, saving money on gas, saving money on parking and just time and traffic, God, this bike would definitely do it for you. Props to Benelli for bringing something into the American market and restarting their company and giving us American riders something that we can use on the road. Well, that's all until next time. If you guys want to read my written review, make sure to check out asphaltrubber.com. We'll be publishing a review there. I'll also be publishing a review probably somewhere else. I don't really know where yet. But leave me a note. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And then check out those gear links to look at the stuff that I'm wearing. I'm wearing my awesome Alpine Stars Dry Star gloves, my T-Jaws WP jacket, my crank denim jeans, all the stuff that I count on that works really good on a chilly spring morning, because it was a little bit chilly when we rode out here. But if you're interested in that gear, make sure to check out the links, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.